We'll see what happens.
Are you aware of the reports that Susie Wilds' phone has been breached and somebody's been impersonating her?
I've heard that, yeah.
Oh, he's heard it. That's comforting, I guess. Government officials think the impersonator used artificial intelligence to imitate Wiles' voice, some of the people said. All right, what the hell is this story that just broke from the Wall Street Journal? It details how the Trump chief of staff, Susie Wilds, had her phone hacked into, and a hacker began to reach out to Republican governors, senators, business leaders, etc. on her behalf, pretending to be her. This reads, federal authorities probe effort to impersonate White House chief of staff. An unknown individual pretended to be Susie Wilds in calls and texts to prominent Republicans and business executives, but it gets even scarier. I mean, just to back up, think about the failure, the protocol failure that had to happen with the Trump administration for something like this to happen yet again. During month one, we had Signalgate Part 1, which is when Pete Hegseth added an Atlantic journalist, Jeffrey Goldberg, to a group chat with Houthi attack plans. The next month, we learned that Pete Hegseth also added his mom and his brother, I believe. Then the next month, we learned that Pete Hegseth and his crew had been illegally wiretapping their employees to try to figure out if they were leaking plans. It's all absolutely illegal and beyond protocol, and while this was happening, the person running the day-to-day operations of the second Trump term, Susie Wilds, had her personal phone unknowingly breached, and then high-level figures were communicated with on her behalf. It goes beyond embarrassing. I was going to open off the video by saying, like, this is an embarrassing feat for the Trump admin, but this is beyond embarrassing. This is a national security failure, and then Trump's response honestly made it even worse. I'll break down Trump's response in 1 second, but just to start here, federal authorities are now investigating a clandestine effort to impersonate White House Chief of Staff Susie Wilds. I guess the one question I want to pose to everybody watching this video, yes or no in the comment section, is, do you feel safe in Trump's America? Do you feel safe when Trump is the president of the United States? Scroll down and comment yes or no. Make sure you drop a like while you're down there. And, you know, I don't, because this hasn't been isolated. We've seen a repeated pattern of high-level security failures from top Trump officials. And the worst part is there's no accountability mechanism. So after Signalgate Part 1 and 2, Mike Waltz was obviously reassigned. Pete Hegseth fired 3 of his aides. But Pete Hegseth is still at the helm at the Department of Defense. Like, there's no accountability for the people who are causing these problems. In recent weeks, senators, governors, top U.S. business executives, and other well-known figures have received text messages and phone calls from a person who claimed to be the chief of staff of Donald Trump. I mean, at this point, F it. There's no difference between Susie Wilds allowing crypto scammers into Trump's vicinity to have his ear and Susie Wilds basically being impersonated by a crypto scammer to get Trump's ear. Obviously, I'm being tongue-in-cheek. This impersonation is not good, it is illegal, and it is a national security failure. But the point is, there's already so much crypto scamming corruption that this isn't far off from the reality. The messages weren't from Susie Wilds, and the FBI and the White House are trying to figure out who is behind the effort and what the goal is, according to some of the people. FBI officials have told the White House they don't believe a foreign nation is involved, some of the people said. Quote, "The White House takes the cybersecurity of all staff very seriously, brother." This is going to make me roll my eyes into oblivion. We have had more security leaks and failures out of this White House over the past 120 days than I think we've had in the past 5 administrations. We could have had Biden weekend at Bernie's over the next 4 years, and we wouldn't have had this many security failures, because at least weekend at Bernie's Biden would have put the right people in the right place at the right time to manage these large operations. Honestly, that is why I will still make the argument that yes, I will vote for Biden over, I would have voted for Biden over Trump. If you watch my Piers Morgan video, which if you haven't, look up Adam Mockler, Piers Morgan. I went on a Piers Morgan panel and he tried to get me. He was like, would you still vote for Biden knowing what we know now over Trump? And I was like, yes, of course I would. And I got a lot of hate for that, but I stand by it. Quote, "The FBI takes all threats against the president and his staff seriously," said Kash Patel. Oh my God. Kash Patel, we don't take you seriously, bro. Let's watch this video of Donald Trump being asked about this.
We'll see what happens.
Are you aware of the reports that Susie Wilds' phone has been breached and somebody's been impersonating her?
I've heard that, yeah.
About that? Do you know anything about the investigation?
She's an amazing woman. She can handle it. But I've heard that they breached her phones or they tried to impersonate her. Nobody can impersonate Susie. Nobody.
What are you talking about, bro? She's an amazing person. She'll figure that out, I'm sure. Dude, she's your chief of staff. You should put some resources on not getting... Everything that we know is going to get leaked. And while this is happening, by the way, Elon Musk is siphoning our data. This is sort of not related, but it sort of is. The government already knows a lot about you. Doze is trying to access all of it. So while Susie Wilds gets her info hacked, while Pete Hegseth leaks our national security plans, we can trust Elon Musk to siphon our data behind the scenes. Watch Trump being asked about Ukraine very quickly. This is an important clip.
Mr. President, do you support the Lindsey Graham Blumenthal bill that would levy sanctions on Russia?
I don't know. I have to see it. I'll take a look at it.
Putin hasn't told him what to think on that bill yet. Sorry. Wiles is widely viewed as Trump's closest advisor. She managed his presidential campaign before becoming the White House chief of staff, and she was the first woman to ever serve in the high-profile position of chief of staff, which is a weird, interesting feat in and of itself. She's called the Ice Maiden because she's kind of quiet and behind the scenes. There are only about 2 or 3 interviews that exist of Susie Wiles, and they're very intentional. She's a fascinating person, to be honest. Very politically effective. You have to be politically effective to get effing Trump elected. Wiles has told associates that her cell phone contacts were hacked, according to some of the people, giving the impersonator access to private phone numbers of some of the country's most influential people. The phone in question is her personal cell phone, not her government one, the people said. Some of the calls featured a voice that sounded like Wiles. Government officials think the impersonator used artificial intelligence to imitate Wiles' voice, some of the people said. In some of the text messages, people received requests that they initially believed to be official. One lawmaker, for example, was asked by the impersonator to assemble a list of individuals who could be pardoned by the president. Whoa! It became clear to some of the lawmakers that the requests were suspicious when the impersonator began asking questions about Trump that Wiles should have known the answers to. And in one case, when the impersonator asked for a cash transfer, some of the people said, in many cases, the impersonator's grammar was broken and the messages were more formal than the way Wiles typically communicates. I'm sorry, but this is kind of blowing my mind. We have what sounds to be a foreign hacker with broken grammar asking questions about Trump and pardons to effectively, it sounds like, gain leverage over the Trump White House. And there are already so many countries with secret leverage or not secret, explicit leverage over the Trump White House, whether you want to talk about Qatar with the explicit leverage of the $400 million jet, or we can talk about some other countries like Russia, which Trump has made more implicit hints that he has allegiance to. So again, this isn't isolated. This is part of a repeated pattern, and it speaks to a larger truth that the Trump White House is not equipped to protect the American people. Again, do you feel safe? Here's the question. If the Trump White House is not equipped to protect its own inner circle, people like Susie Wiles and Pete Hegseth, from getting hacked, how are they going to protect you, the American people? We've seen how this administration handles classified information. We've seen how Trump himself willfully retains national security documents. And U.S. intelligence agencies have now been looking into this impersonation. Wiles has urged some of her contacts to disregard the messages, and she has apologized for the inconvenience. But some of the people who were contacted engaged with the impersonator before realizing it wasn't Wiles. Many others have reached out to Wiles asking if she is behind the messages. The impersonator has continued sending messages in the recent days, including while Wiles was out of the country this month with Trump. Some White House advisors have privately joked about how busy the impersonator seems to be, and I'll leave it at that. Just remember a few things. The Trump administration does not have the American interests at mind, and Trump always chickens out. Drop a like, subscribe. I love you all. Peace out.